Okay, so I just got the motor tightened up and tensioned. Russ gave me a hand with that. Got the sprocket pretty much all centered up. Made sure that everything was aligned. There's no clicking, there's no popping. It sounds smooth. This tire's not bolted down, but we check the chain for that. Make sure everything's smooth. Make sure it's no clicking, no popping. Don't want your chain coming off. So taking a little bit of extra time setting that up, making sure it's done right the first time will help you in the long run. We've never had a chain come off of one, but theoretically it could if you don't do this right, if it's misaligned. So everything on the axle I do blue Loctite. So everything on the axle I use blue Loctite on just in case we ever have to get this stuff back apart for any reason. And I'm kind of weird. I like to make sure all these shaft collars are lined up. All the bolt heads are facing the same way. Just makes it look a little bit nicer and more finished. Paint pen. And also a mark right here for the key stock. That way I know it's inside. Paint pen, and that finishes up the rear axle. Every trike gets muck off this chain lube. This stuff's awesome. It smells great. We've used this on everything, pretty much our trikes, our dirt bikes, four-wheelers. Stuff works great. So I'm gonna get some of this sprayed on the chain. Just keeps everything lubed up and keeps the chain from rusting. The other thing is I make sure I get the chain so it doesn't pop, it doesn't make any noise whenever it's pretty much dry, when it only has the light oil from the package on it. That way you're not masking any of your issues by just using this muck off and pretty much, you know, using this to hide the noise. So you want to correct the problem, make sure everything's perfect before you go spraying the lube. So I got this torque converter cover cut. This is pretty much the easiest way that I've found to do this, is just to use some tin snips. I'll use these, and then I'll use also the left-handed ones. So these have different colors on them. Red is right hand, green is left hand, and then yellow is a straight cut. So each of those three snips has a different purpose, different way to be used. I'll come in with these left-hand ones. That's pretty much how we do it. It's a new day. Today's Tuesday. Getting ready to get the Ghost Kart brake system hooked up, bled. So I'm going to put the master cylinder on, get the line hooked up, routed, ran, and then I'm going to get the brakes bled, the brake bled, and then end up moving on to the throttle and the gas pedal. So today's Wednesday, working on the Ghost Kart, just have to finish up the exhaust. I'm gonna fire up the Dragon, get some pie cuts going, really take me back to my turbo manifold days. Get this thing wrapped up, get it looking good, fitting good, and ripping good. So I just got the part all programmed in CAD. I imported it into the Dragon software, got all the cam done. So now we're gonna burn the part out. I went with 15 degrees on each of the pie cuts. So I did about like a 4 3/4 center line radius. So that should give us a pretty nice tight bend so that we could work with. I got the bar measured. That's the first step. The machine has to know how long the bar stock is so we know how many parts we can cut and know when to stop so the trolley doesn't run into the gate of the machine. So I'm gonna get that loaded up and then we're gonna get this going. I'm pretty excited about this because if any of you guys have ever made pie cuts before on a bandsaw, you know it takes forever making all those cuts. It's gonna be a little bit more cleanup involved, but I don't know. What was that? Somebody honking a horn or something? Probably some jerk off. Probably some So under a minute, got all those pieces cut. Huge time saver. This thing's gonna be awesome. So I just got those parts cut, and now what I'm doing is I'm putting them on the magnetic vise here and just cleaning up these edges, getting the plasma dross off them, getting that coating off the plasma leaves so that we could weld these up and not have any imperfections or porosity in our welds. So now what I'm going to do is just take this over and just start fitting these together. I knew I needed about a 90, so I'm going to fit these up, put a Sharpie mark on them, come over here, tack them on the table. I should have cleaned these up before I cut them on the plasma, but I'll tack them together and then clean them up a little bit before I weld them. Well, that would have been a lot cooler if I'd have hit the record button, so pretty much got that all tacked up, welded on. Didn't hit the record button, but you guys get the idea. Okay, so I got the exhaust all welded up. You saw me cut the pieces on the Dragon, all the pie cuts, got everything fit together, fully welded. I wrapped it and just got done bolting it to the engine. Now I'm going to go ahead and install the silencer, get it all buttoned up, tightened down. That's gonna wrap up our giveaway project.